All right, everyone, welcome back to the Dave Knows Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, the one, the only, except for all the others, David Lee. All right, so just going to give it a couple of seconds, just going to give it a little bit to let everyone file in who's waiting to join the live stream. And here we go. Okay, so a lot of things we're going to cover. Well, that's not a good start. Okay, so a lot of things to cover today. Been a big week for wrestling news, of course. Hey, a thumbs up already. Thank you so much. You are awesome. All right, everyone's falling in now. Now everyone's coming in. Okay, welcome back. Welcome back all to the Dave Knows Wrestling Podcast. And thank you for the thumbs up right away. Very cool of you. Thank you for another one. All right, so welcome, guys. Yeah, hey, Big Dave. Hey, Whole Truthy. Glad to see you. Okay. All right, guys, don't be quiet today. You guys are pretty quiet. What's going on? Dakota Jennings. Hey, Dakota, welcome back. All right. So as I was saying, a lot of big news that happened today, this whole past week. It's been a lot of stuff going on. We've been looking at the, okay. Yo, Lydia. How you doing? Killing the ending of Raw, Dave. All right, I know Author has been definitely asking for this. Big fan of you too, Dakota. I will say, big fan myself, and thank you for the thumbs up. Raw the Reflex. What is up? Okay, don't worry, Arthur. We're definitely getting to that. We're definitely getting that. Just want a couple more people filing in. Hey, welcome. Thank you for all the thumbs up right away. You guys are great. Thank you for attending. Okay, so. All right, it seems that people are coming in. Oh, okay. What's up, Dave? Yeah, and as you said, what up, Spencer? And as you see, Arthur, I actually put it right there in the title. It's the first thing, Under Siege, just for you, buddy. Just because I know how badly you want me to get to this. So don't worry. Just gonna take a little bit. Thank you for that other thumbs up. You guys are great. You guys are awesome. I love it right away. You guys right off the bat. I love it. Okay, so yes, that was for you. All right, so. Oh, and by the way, now that I got you guys here, in the comments of this live stream after the show is over, don't be afraid to tell me about things you want me to cover for next episodes or next week or whatever, or further live streams, because I'm more than happy to indulge in that kind of thing. Connection issues again. I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi here, but so far it seems to be okay. I think we're doing all right. Okay, so thank you for another thumbs up. Okay, wonder what Owens and Zayn's roles are going to be in Survivor Series. Okay, so, all right, might as well just get it. I need a video of the top 10 moves you will never see in the WWE but everywhere else. Wow, okay, yeah, pile driver, brain busters, but never say never. Okay, let's just go ahead and get into it. Arthur, you waited long enough. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for already. What happened? Okay. Hey, Dave. Hey, the Wrestling Yoda. Wow, you must know wrestling too. Wrestling Yoda. That's muy inteligente. Okay, so let's get into it. So, if you haven't seen Raw last week, this past Monday's Raw, which, spoiler warning, I'm going to let you know now. What happened was they were announced. Hey, what is going on, Justin? What happened was they announced that this year's Survivor Series, which in and of itself is something I want to cover. This year's Survivor Series is going to be kind of like bragging rights, where it's just Raw versus SmackDown, and they're going head-to-head. Tag champions of Raw and SmackDown going against each other. Mid-card belts, US and IC champions going against each other. And top titles, Jinder Mahal, Brock Lesnar going against each other. And it doesn't seem to be title for title. It just seems to be for bragging rights. So, ultimately pointless. And yet another pay-per-view where the Universal title is not going to be defended. Or the tag belts. Or the IC. Yay! That was sarcasm. So either way, they announced this in the beginning of the show, and then building up to it, Kurt Angle said he was going to announce his official 5-on-5 team, because they're actually going to also have, in addition to this, a 5-on-5 Raw versus SmackDown matchup, traditional Survivor Series matchup. So Kurt Angle wanted to announce his members. But before we got to that, which is, now this kind of works on the narrative that I normally like on Raw, where they start out a thread. This is now, I've gotten some flack for my criticisms of Vince Russo before, but I will say this is part of the ideas. I'm not saying that Vince Russo is all bad, because he did do some things that I liked, and one of the things he did during the Attitude Era, which I liked, was building a narrative throughout the show where you plant a seed and you're waiting for the payoff, and you get more information as things go on and as the show continues. Now, this didn't really give a lot more information. It didn't tease it, other than just saying they were going to announce a team later on, but nonetheless, it at least started out with an idea. It started out with a concept talking about who Kurt Angle was going to name in the beginning, and then we had to go on further to see who he was going to name. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the likes. So we had to see at the end. Now, at the very end, Shane McMahon showed up. Harper and Rowan comes on Raw and attack Bray and Braun in a brutal way. Interesting. So what happened was, that's not bad, Raw. So what happened at the end, Shane McMahon comes out and talks before Kurt Angle announces his team, and Shane McMahon says, "Under siege." And then all these guys from SmackDown, all the mid-card dudes from SmackDown, and some of the women as well, storm the set. Kurt Angle runs in fear, and they go around the whole back, beating up anybody they see. Titus O'Neil, stagehands, TV monitors, and then they eventually get to Kurt Angle, and they eventually get to Kurt Angle and beat him down too, and Kurt Angle never really gets to make the announcement. They even beat down the Shield. Now, so as Arthur and I have talked about previously, I'm not really the biggest fan of this angle. I like parts of it. I like ideas of it. It's like a badass beatdown, because I think for wrestling there's not a lot of real true beatings given anymore. It's one of the reasons why I think Brock Lesnar is very over right now, successful, because he's scary. Or Braun Strowman. They beat people. Samoa Joe. They beat people up, and this is wrestling. They're tough. They're tough guys who can beat people up. So I like that. I like that aspect a lot, and I love the aspect of a real serious beatdown fest. That's great. But I had certain issues with it, because there's tons of missed opportunities that they totally dogged by doing this, Under Siege thing. Number one, it kind of makes the whole roster seem like they turned heel. Oh, thank you for the thumbs up. It seems like the whole roster turned heel, which they didn't, because I'll get to this in a moment, but we could tell by where the characters reset to the following night. So there were certain problems, for example, Bobby Roode. Wait, hold on, let me catch up with the chat. Did you expect there to be a match of Kurt versus Shane announced for Survivor Series? Kind of. I think the problem is Kurt, from Kurt's TLC match, as I'll also talk about. Kurt's TLC match, it seems like he might not be able to put on a full match, which is weird to think that Shane can, but he can't. But either way, I think most likely they'll be part of their respective teams. Shane, however, his obligation to wrestle twice a year has already been fulfilled. So as far as I know, he's not, if he does wrestle again, he's not contractually obligated to in this year, but that would have to be, maybe they would have to work something out. But either way, I'm more likely expecting the two of them to be as part of the team, as part of the team facing each other. And the other thing about it is, as I was saying, a lot of missed opportunities with this, Under Siege beatdown thing. That drove me crazy. And one of them is, now this is a small one, but I would have liked it if Shane McMahon mentioned that he hasn't forgotten King of the Ring 2002 against Kurt. They still, where Kurt almost, killed him. I wish they kind of brought that up, and they still can in the incoming weeks. But I think that would have been nice, since Shane seems to be turning a little heelish, or at least it came across that way that night, if they could bring that back. So I think that was a small missed opportunity. Not enough random Nexus level beatdowns. Yes, agreed, not enough. Spencer Isaacs, I love those heels. Okay, sorry about that. The Wi-Fi here is terrible. Yeah, I know. Sorry. Thank you for hanging with. Thank you for staying with me. I opened a door. That's gonna help. I don't know. Maybe it will. I slightly cracked the door. Hopefully that helps. Yeah. Well, thank you for staying with me. Thank you for staying with me, guys. I know it's irritating. Okay, so where was I? Odds are, if they have Shane wrestle, it's to boost poor sales figures. That's a good point, but I do think the plan might be in the works already, because I know they've been trying to overhaul for a while now, a couple of years, that they want Survivor Series to feel more like one of the big pay-per-views, which it is, and they know that they've kind of neglected it for a while. I'm located I'm coming out of New York City. So I know they're trying to revamp it a little bit, and they've been trying. The other thing, so that's one thing. Another missed opportunity I had. I don't know if you caught it, but there was two major missed opportunities I found. One of them was just in the background, not even paying attention to it. But Chad Gable, when they were storming the back, Chad Gable gunned right for Jason Jordan. At least I think it was Chad Gable. And Chad Gable punching Jason Jordan, like, this was a story opportunity. They could have brought this up. Why is he attacking him? You know, just because he's on different shows? He was so boring. You know, so that was the thing. It was like they didn't bring up this Chad Gable, Jason Jordan thing. It was in the background. You could barely see it. You know, is it just brand loyalty? What is the deal? Why? And, you know, the two of them clashing is huge. Like, it should have been brought up. And they could have even gone the other way with it. With the SmackDown locker room storming them, they could have, you know, backed off and seen Jason Jordan and, you know, they could have seen Chad Gable not wanting to attack Jason Jordan. They could have made a thing out of it. And instead, it was just some background thing that happened. Like, who cares? Which was, I thought, a huge, huge missed opportunity. Because especially with American Alpha. You know, even Sheldon Benjamin could have, you know, kind of been there. And Chad Gable could have been caught in between. All right, let me catch up on the chat. Okay. I mean, one of the biggest things I miss for WWE's years past is the big pay-per-views having unique entrance ramps and time drones. Cutting down. Yeah, they've been cutting down on set costs and, you know, really simplifying things. I agree. They haven't been making things as big of a spectacle as they used to be. You know, like they did WrestleMania right, but then they took that, you know, entrance ramp with the video projector and they use it for everything now. So it's like it was special, but now it doesn't matter anymore. I wonder if there's a way to pause live stream because I definitely want to move into the area where the live streaming is, where the Wi-Fi is better, but I might have to just take you the old-fashioned way. Okay, they need to inject some NXT into the mix too. Yeah, okay, now that would have been interesting too, because they still are on the fence whether NXT is a third brand or it's developmental, because they treat it like somewhere in between. We're tough guys. We could beat up half an empty locker room with no Brock or Braun. We could stick 20 guys on 40, something that. That's the whole SmackDown. Yeah, okay. Oh, don't worry, I was going to get there, but you're right. Author. I totally agree with that. Wrestling Yoda. What if Raw attacks on the Halloween edition of SmackDown? Braun Strowman or The Shield get in with the horror spirits wearing jigsaw masks. Well, wow, that's elaborate. And the SmackDown Live crew and head to the parking lot and get jumped. Okay. All right, pretty interesting. Okay, so I like that too. See, like, this proves that fans should write because we come up with better ideas. But the other missed opportunity I want to talk about is the fact that AJ Styles got to visit from SmackDown and he was put onto Raw's show. And that was cool and all. And then they even said he's going to hang out for an extra day and he was going to appear on Monday Night Raw, and he did. Now, sure, it was only 2 shows. But with AJ Styles, what I thought they could have done is maybe start an idea where AJ might be a bit of a tweener, going back and forth on the whole idea, not necessarily being loyal to SmackDown, because he's a little tempted to go to Raw. And as that, when they had this whole Plant Beatdown thing, you could have used AJ as the character like Spider-Man was in the Civil War comic, not the movie, the comic. You could have used him in that way, as he's the guy who's stuck on the fence, and that could have been an interesting dynamic too. But if that was the case, they could have possibly even held AJ off for another week, and, you know, done the Under Siege thing later on. You know, just an idea. No respect for the brain split again. Oh, well, and that's true. Okay, so Nathan, what is the point? Okay. Do you think there will be some stakes for the 2 brands overall winner Survivor Series, like a draft pick from NXT? It'd be nice if there were some stakes, but I really don't think there are. I don't think the plans are to put anything on the line. I think this is just another pay-per-view to delay Jinder Mahal losing the title, keeping the belt without having him actually squash any talent, just holding on to it because they're really, really stuck on this idea, and another excuse to have Brock Lesnar hold on to the title without having any big feud and having to hurt anybody's momentum or putting anybody over. I think this is just a delay pay-per-view, and unfortunately it's Survivor Series. I think they're just eking out the times with the fact that they have too many pay-per-views and they have forgotten how to build towards them. That's what I think. I agree entirely. The pay-per-views don't feel like pay-per-views. Bringing the pyro at the big pay-per-views may be different from wrestlers' music. I hear you. I entirely agree. That would have been nice to have AJ show up front and center if they found out Gallows and Anderson. Yeah, there you go. And having him hesitate to attack them with the rest of SmackDown Live crew. Yeah, that's another missed opportunity with the Bullet Club. The Bullet Club, too sweet. That's a great idea about AJ. Thank you. And that's what I'm saying. So, Brock is going to prison shower. Jeez. Okay, but okay, back to the pyro. Now, I'm not excusing this, but the mentality, and thank you for the thumbs up, and thank you for everyone joining us. Opening door actually helped. Yeah, maybe it did. Maybe opening door does help. Maybe this door is made out of some weird, fallout shelter material. Okay, I think Corbin has the potential if they give him a manager with great mic skills. Possibly the Shield is stupid. Let's see. Okay, things are going right. I see Alma's going to SmackDown after Survivor Series. Interesting. So something along those lines, because I don't imagine him beating McIntyre. I feel you. Truth be told, now I'm getting sidetracked, but Almas is actually doing better than I thought, because for a period of time I thought he was going the same route as CJ Parker, as Bull Dempsey, as Solomon Crow, and he was just going to be a jobber to the stars, especially when, Bobby Roode beat him down at TakeOver. I was there for that live, and I just thought that was how they were going to use him, which, in Mexico, he's a big deal. He's a great luchador. And, I even mentioned him in the J Crown Championship video, if you guys seen that. And so it seems like they're doing him better than I thought, especially with this program with Johnny Gargano. They're actually doing it pretty well, and I thought it was fairly interesting. Now, going back, before I keep losing track, it just has to devalue SmackDown's #1 title and keep Raw strong, which is what they do, yeah. Okay, so going back to this, the problem with this is, the idea is not necessarily wrong, it's just how they went about it. Now, if they took, just the heels of the locker room and just had them come of the SmackDown locker room and have them go out, it would be fine. But now you have a bunch of faces in this weird in-between role and also they haven't been building this, and I know that was part of the surprise, that Under Siege, big shocker, but they weren't building it like there was any animosity between brands. I mean, sure, back when it was Shane and Stephanie, yeah, they kind of had that competitive rivalry, but ever since Kurt Angle took over, they've just been fine. And, they even said, here, have AJ for a night. You guys are in need. Viral outbreak, which no one seems to want to say whether it is or not meningitis. It could be mumps. No one knows. I don't know. Whatever. Which also ruined this whole Shield reunion thing. And, hey, fine, it is. Women's, okay, what have I been missing? It's the women's team because Asuka's going to murder them. Fair enough. That'd be pretty funny if Asuka just takes out all 5 of the women's team by herself, and that's just it. Doesn't even bother tagging anyone else in. I don't think they'll do that, but it would be funny. Can we create a real... Yeah, okay. And the Horsemen with Ric Flair and J.J. Dillon roll. Who would be the new Horseman? Oh, man, that's a loaded question. I will see if I can get that later. I actually think Jinder will have a good showing. He won't win, but I think having him perform better than Strowman and Joe did on pay-per-view would make him look a lot better. But can it? Because is he capable of looking better? Is he capable of wrestling? He really hasn't proven ever that he's capable of doing better than Joe or Braun as a wrestler, or being entertaining, or getting over with the crowd. He's never done it. And he's had some good talent to work with. Nakamura has been able to elevate people's games. He's proven that before. And there's only so much that Nakamura could drag out of the guy. What up, Vin? I think Vince needs to commit to the split and only have 2 brands such as Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, possibly Rollback. I hear you on that. I don't care, it's going to kill you. Anyone happy? Can you beat Balor? I was surprised. I will say that. I was very surprised. I did not see that coming. So, okay, I'm definitely gonna, these are all great topics, so let me get up to that. All right, so the thing about it is, the SmackDown, I would prefer it if it was just heels, because it's not here. And the problem with it that we saw the next day on SmackDown is, Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler saying, hey, we might have been part of Team SmackDown, but I still hate you. We're still feuding. So it's confusing, because you're disrupting your own narrative. And a big part of the brand split, or a big part of what's great about continuity and storylines, is that these shows have to continue over. If they appear as just one way on SmackDown, but then appear in total different context on Raw, it breaks the whole narrative. It breaks the whole thing of you being able to understand that this is a continuing thread, and that this crossover, or this, invasion feels good. And the other problem with it, which reminds me, is the door didn't help that much. Plus, no answer on Raw. Yeah. And it's the other problem. Do you think they should get rid of the brand split? Absolutely. I think they have the right ideas behind it, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work unless you really separate the 2 brands, and they're not. Yes, I do think they should get rid of the brand split for sure. But on the same hand, I've also said that maybe they need a third brand. So it just, what they're doing is not working. So the thing about the invasion is that's what this feels like. This feels like a rehashed version of the WCW invasion angle, and that was terrible. Which Shane even kind of alluded to when he said he remembers how this goes. Now he could have been talking about something else, but it seemed like he was talking about the WCW invasion angle, which he was the lead of WCW, and that was awful. And it seems very similar to that. It seems like it's already being done slightly better, which is a plus, but it kind of loses its velour, and I don't know if they can totally rebound from this. And like you pointed out, there was no answer from Raw, and the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn thing, well, they've proven to be enemies of Shane McMahon. At least Kevin Owens has. Sami Zayn is, but there's really not a lot of reason to it behind it other than what he said, which I didn't really buy as an explanation. But the problem with that is, if they want to be on, Team SmackDown represented, why? Because not only did they not like Shane McMahon, but Kevin Owens has also pointed out that he wasn't always the happiest to be on SmackDown in the first place. So where does this brand loyalty, show up from all of a sudden? Okay, if Raw, okay, is it true The Rock suggested that walk out if she was unhappy? That's what I heard. That's then back to the other part. Oh, I meant to put that in the title. I didn't. Nia Jax update. Seems like The Rock has said, if you're unhappy, Nia, walk out. But other people said she has personal reasons. Now, the advice isn't clear, but whenever we get conflicting stories, I tend to think that the thing that WWE wants to cover up most would be the truth. But now, that might not be right, but it is what I tend to think. And there are reports saying that Nia Jax was unhappy in Rock's because she was supposed to lose to Sasha Banks at TLC cleanly, and she didn't want to do that. And she was also unhappy with how she was friends with Alexa Bliss, then finally turned on her, and then became friends with her again, and she didn't like how her character was being handled. So Rock says just walk, which is funny because Rock criticized Stone Cold Steve Austin when he walked from the company in 2002. He showed up to tell Austin, if you don't like it, get the F out. I mean, they mended fences since, but Rock was a little upset by that, even though he was off in Hollywood. So it's kind of funny if you think about it. And, CM Punk did the same thing, and it seemed that Rock didn't approve. And so it just seems kind of weird that he would say that. Okay, maple syrup. I know I'm behind. Oh, you didn't know about that Sasha thing? I thought I just said it. So the brand, but like I said, those are reports, but there are conflicting reports out there. It's not just, that is the report I believe the most, but there are conflicting reports that actually say that that's not true at all. The story for the brand split is this annoyance. So then it might as well be non-existent. I agree. If that is true, The Rock needs to know his role and shut his mouth. Nia isn't a... Not only is it stupid to prime Jinder for as a heel, even though Cena, the American babyface, is arguably the most popular wrestler in India. Yeah, that's a good point. And like I said, that's the thing, I've said this before, the thing about Cena is, this is the guy you want to group. If you're trying to spread internationally, Cena's the guy for the group, whether you like it or not. He makes a lot of money, but he's willing to learn other languages for you. He's willing to go above and beyond. He's willing to do publicity anywhere you ask him to. And he's the guy that you want because he panders to people. And I know a lot of people hate him for pandering, but he's good at it. And that is what generates business in foreign markets. So I agree that Jinder just doesn't work. And he's rumored because allegedly Forbes reported that subscriptions in India for network have actually dropped during Jinder's run. Thank you for that thumbs up. As well as the fact that India has a TV channel that gets all WWE program. There's no need for India to get the network for the most part. Well, there's barely a need for me to have the network, but I still do. Tell me your reaction if Vince makes Asuka lose to Dana Brooke next week on Raw. Hey, Jenna. Great to see you. Do you like Jinder as champion? No, not even a little. Do you think Jinder Mahal... I'll try to catch you with the chat. I know I'm behind. How do you think Jinder Mahal... Yes, I'm calling him that now. What were you calling him? Oh, Mahal. No rub. But it'll make Mahal more relevant as champion. Will fare against champion of the damn universe. I think they're going to try. Now another thing speculated about this main event was that the main event for Survivor Series is going to have a special guest referee. Now, The smart money's on Cena showing up to just do a special guest referee spot, so therefore he doesn't have to wrestle and doesn't have to scare his movie companies about possibly getting hurt. And, he gets some mix in the program because they said they want someone that would be interesting to work with Brock Lesnar. Now, if that's the case, I could see John Cena being in there because they want to start a program with him and Brock, but they also said they want to start a program with him and Jinder Mahal, and as a free agent, he's free to do both. Now, and also, since he's a free agent on both, he can be declared as a neutral referee that has no biasness because he's on both shows. There's also other names being thrown out, such as The Rock and also Stone Cold Steve Austin. But they want somebody who's kind of like a big deal, special guest referee. And I could see the special guest referee, just like with Shane McMahon starting Kevin Owens' feud, I could see them being, getting into something where, it ends on some shenanigans. Because I really, especially if they're trying to keep, Brock warm for Roman Reigns, having Jinder beat him clean would be embarrassing. Having Jinder beat him at all would be terrible as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was a bad move for him to lose to Goldberg at last year's Survivor Series, so I don't think that's a good move either. But at the same hand, if Brock runs over Jinder Mahal, which he should, and he's most likely to, which is why I think you just don't book this match, because there's no good way it could go. It's either obvious or it's stupid. If they do this with Jinder, it's not going to help anybody. No one gains from it. So I think the special guest referee costing him the match is the only, costing Brock or Jinder the match is the only way to go. Sure, had Survivor Series. Yeah, okay, and there's the other thing. This is going to be the 20th anniversary of the Screwjob. So, do they have the special guest referee get involved with a Screwjob type scenario because it's the 20th anniversary and WWE loves bringing it up? So how could they not bring it up with 20 years on the nose? I mean, come on. Seems like something they're going to bring up. It would be hilarious if Goldberg is a special guest referee. Oh, yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Considered heel because he... Okay, Mahal could be considered heel because he cheats as being racist. Nakamura? Yeah, he's definitely a heel. Nakamura is definitely a heel. There's no question about that. Going to be honest, as stupid as it all is, it's an awful situation for Mahal to have been and put in. Arguably, has been done better others positions. Dude carries like a champion. Okay, yeah, I backtracked on the champ a little, on the chat a little bit. Yeah, and I'm the first to forgive wrestlers for being stuck in a bad situation. Look, I understand that you do your job, you get booked, but at the same hand, I kind of respected when certain wrestlers walk out, like CM Punk, like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You could make the argument for other guys, whether or not they did the right thing, like Adrian Neville, Austin Aries, Nia Jax. You can argue that. Brett Favre. Not bad. Not bad. It would actually get me to care about the main event if Brett was there. They made Natalya versus Charlotte, Ric Flair versus Bret Hart, which I don't mind. And as my friend Sean, who's been on the show before, has pointed out, with the interesting thing is when they had the NXT Championship tournament, years ago with Natty and Charlotte, he goes, "Did you ever think you'd see a Flair having to be put over by a Hart?" It's just a weird state of affairs how things came over. He also points out that when you look at Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton, how did you ever think you'd see the day where Orton was a multi-time world champion and a Rhodes was a mid-card champ at best? It's a weird thing, like the generational things is kind of funny. Why can't ride of the brand split, but why do you think they should bring back WCW or ECW and make that a big thing and put mid-carders on that show? Okay, well, some mid-carders, yeah, but I don't want it all mid-carders because I don't want it to be like the last ECW where it was like the joke brand. And I know they tried a couple of main guys, but they just didn't do it right, and it couldn't be. And it's just, I mean, I have my episode about what I think could have been, what was almost done and what should have been done. Charlotte says her dream Mania match would be Ronda Rousey. Your thoughts? I'll put it this way. Ronda Rousey is not a wrestler. But Shayna Baszler, during the Mae Young Classic, very, very much surprised me. She wrestled a lot better. She was not only able to do the moves, which is not my biggest concern, but she was actually able to tell a story. She sold the ribs. Like, she made me believe that there was a chance that little tiny Kairi Sane had a chance to beat her in a fight. And, she did a lot of great spots. So, well, normally I would say, like, celebrity, why is that your dream match? But with Shayna Baszler, and I have no idea how good Ronda Rousey might be as a wrestler, but Shayna Baszler kind of said, all right, maybe the UFC horsewomen got a shot at this. So because of that, I'm optimistic that would be nice. I wouldn't be my biggest dream, but also, since the Revolution, I mean, how many lineups have we seen at this point? Charlotte has gone against damn near everyone possible. So, like, Ronda Rousey's almost the only thing she has left. I really hope Neville does well as Rhodes, because then he can make a domino effect in WWE. Yeah, and that's the other thing, too. So when you talk about walkouts, I don't agree with the practice. And when it comes to, like, Nia Jax or Adrian Neville, his frustration is a little surprising, only because, fine, revenue-wise, money-wise, they haven't been paying him that well. Same thing with, allegedly same thing with Austin Aries. For those of you who don't know, like on the WrestleMania DVD, their match was actually not on it, meaning they didn't get the residuals from that. His T-shirt was very boring. Neville's last T-shirt design was very plain and boring. Not going to sell a whole lot of those. Just go to Lucha Underground, not bad. My dream, so because of that, a lot of revenue. And according to some people, Austin Aries, believe it or not, is making more money on the Indies than he was during his contractual time period in the WWE because of how they handle things. And also being lower on the card or also pre-show, that also affects revenue. So it seemed to be a frustration when it comes to money. And when it comes to a frustration because of money, I can't really speak to that. But, Neville, in terms of booking, he was a Cruiserweight champion for a long time. Yes, his loss to Akira Tozawa was pointless, and they wanted him to allegedly lose to Neville on Raw. Enzo Amore on Raw. Fine, but if it's just those booking decisions, he wasn't booked that badly. Oh, and yes, and he also had a problem is if he's just a cruiserweight guy, then he's never climbing out of this hole. And Cruiserweight 205 Live doesn't really get a lot of respect, so it also causes a problem for him down the line for money. So the problem is if you're in a cruiserweight section, you're pigeonholed in this little section, and you can't really grow past it. And therefore, you might always be on the pre-show. Therefore, you might always get your match cut on the pre-show. You might always get your DVD cut. And the problem was, it costs you money. And you are working really hard, and you don't see it. So in that case, from financially speaking, months of frustration, I get it. For booking practices, I think it might be a little early. So that brings me back to Nia Jax. Nia Jax, I think, walking out bit early. If you've been frustrated for a long time, and if they've been severely cutting your so if you severely cut the person's pocket and they've been frustrated for months, like CM Punk, or like you have serious issues like Austin, and they're just not listening to you, and there's something like, Austin's neck injury or whatever, where it has to be taken care of right away, then fine. I understand you walking out. But if it's a more recent development, you're just not happy in the past month, maybe you need to talk about it. But yes, at the same hand, if it starts a domino effect, or WWE realizes they're not, thank you for the thumbs up, sorry, I've been behind, not the end-all be-all, and that people do have other options, maybe it make them best step correct. That's the idea. All right, so Jenna, you love the horseman and woman thing? Yes, that's another thing about Survivor Series. As you can see from the card, it seems like that horsewoman versus horsewoman, UFC, WWE, is off the table for Survivor Series, which was the plan, which is supposed to happen, and why is it not happening? That is something I just don't seem to... That is just something I just don't get. I don't get why it's happened. And with this Raw versus SmackDown thing and the horsewomen's being split up, WWE's horsewomen being split up across two brands, they're not really going to do it because they're doing a Raw versus SmackDown thing. It's like a Raw versus SmackDown thing, so they can't, cross bridge, or else it ruins the whole conceit of the pay-per-view being Raw versus SmackDown. So that's off the table, which is unfortunate because this was the time, this was the pay-per-view, they could have done that. Now they're saying this match be held off to WrestleMania. Problem with that is, if it's not elimination, it's nowhere near as fun. So if it's elimination, which it should be, that's Survivor Series. If it's Mania, then it's just going to be, a Teddy Long booked match, which fine for certain things, but not for WrestleMania. So I'm upset. So one fall, I don't need that. Okay, let me catch up. Hey, Train, what is up? That is a WrestleMania match. If it's elimination, thank you for a thumbs up. If it's elimination, fine. But even so, I think it should have been Survivor Series team up. And my other thing about this team is if it's elimination, if it's Survivor Series, horsewoman on horsewoman, you could get it down to just Charlotte and Rousey, and not end on shenanigans, not end on any, tomfoolery or chicanery or whatever old school term I mean for cheating. But it just ends with something unclear where, maybe someone's shoulder was up, or maybe someone didn't exactly tap, or just something, something where there's at least a way to extend the feud a little bit more. If it's down to Charlotte and Ronda, then you can hype it up to say Charlotte versus Ronda. Or, if it's, or if it's Shayna and Ronda, and it's just Charlotte, and, they double team, fine. But, then you can put up well, you can't beat me one-on-one. Just something to extend the feud, because now you have it set up at Survivor Series, pay off at Mania. Now you have a match and now it's done. If you do it at Mania, okay, where's the follow-up? You know, when do you get Charlotte versus Ronda? When will you get that? At SummerSlam? You know, or they can hold on. That one-on-one match is much better for a Mania match in the setup in Survivor Series than having the setup in Mania and then the payoff being at some other pay-per-view. As great as SummerSlam is, you don't use WrestleMania to set up feuds. You use it to pay them off. That's how I feel. Okay, if they do Mania, it'll be a 2011 cluster style. Yeah, it would be. Jack. Wasn't Sin Cara meant to be in the Cruiserweight division? Yeah, and Kalisto was supposed to be there earlier, said some reports, but they delayed it, so who knows. And it also seems like they don't even know what to do with Sin Cara anymore. So, there's that. Hey, Dave. Hey, what's up, Man Pig? What have I missed? The classes are making me late. Sorry about that, but glad you're in class. We just talked about the problems with Under Siege on Raw and the fact that SmackDown had nothing to do with it. Nothing happened. No follow-up on SmackDown. It was just kind of out there. Dave versus Damian Nelson of PWR in a cage match. I always wanted to be in a cage. I will say that much, just because I want to know what it's like. You know, I want to, and I kind of want like the old school WWE blue cages, not the fences. I always thought that'd be more. I know what climbing a fence is like. I mean, like a cage. Maybe Sin Cara put on some weight. Yeah, maybe. Hey, what's up, Black 60 Dragon? Dave, me versus you. Harry Flynn, hey, what's going on? Now, I am sorry, because I know there's a lot of cool things you guys were talking about, and I just, and I kind of got behind, but welcome to chat, everybody. Hall of Fame 2018. I know there was a name that I thought of for last year that didn't get put in. And I was surprised. Who was the big name that I thought for last year? I don't think CM Punk was asking too much, and that he is a cryberry. Fight me. What? I don't think CM Punk was asking too much. CM Punk was hurt. He had a concussion, and he didn't want to wrestle. That's fine. It's fair. Like he had a good run. Fine. Should he have lost to The Rock? No. The Rock going on to Cena, that was ridiculous. Are you trained as a wrestler? I've been wondering. I've done pro wrestling stuff, but not as a wrestler. I've worked as an authority figure, as a mysterious owner authority figure, but not as a wrestler. I've done backyard wrestling, and I know a lot of guys who do indie wrestling, and I've talked to them about it, goofed around a little bit, but no, I'm not trained as an actual wrestler, as a physical wrestler. I take umbrage with calling it the Cruiserweight division because it feels like a stupid light heavyweight division all over again. Yeah, WWE has never done well with lighterweight divisions. It's hysterical when you look at, that might be an upcoming video, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but it's ridiculous when you see that anytime you list anything that's not a heavyweight and you have WWE or WWF or WWF in front of it, it's pure disaster. It's just hysterical. Hoping WWE UK show will eventually come to fruition. They could really do showcasing those guys. Now, rumor has it the show, they haven't forgotten about that UK show. They're going to do it and call it King of the Ring, but it won't be the King of the Ring tournament. It will just be the name. That's a rumor. I hope not, because the King of the Ring tournament was great. And I know why wrestlers have a problem with it. I get it, but still, I still love the King of the Ring. You were Horse Rock West GM. All he wanted was to main event WrestleMania, but that's fair. He deserved it. Him and Daniel Bryan were the guys from a wrestling standpoint. Now I get it; they're not money draws at WrestleMania 30, but that was not sponsored. I'm just drinking it. They got rid of Neville on 205 Live intro. Yeah, he was in there like 3 times, I think, and they got rid of all examples of it. Being bribed by... I wish. Are you kidding me? If they sponsored... If they just said, lifetime supply, you have all, we'll just give you all the soda you want. Do you have any idea, like, how much that would change my life? How happy I would be? I've never had Faygo root beer. And if it was and And if it wasn't for Eminem, I wouldn't know what it was. I think the biggest problem with wrestling right now is that there are way too many wrestlers, and you can't push to all of them. Yes, I agree. On the card, there's obvious. Yes, I agree there needs to be jobbers. And yes, I agree there are too many people on the card. And I agree that the split, and I don't think the split is the way to handle it. What did that say? WWE should bring back WCW TV titles, so that way when Brock is away, which, now you know what, that brings me to an interesting idea. Like, my thing is, if Brock is not defending the title, the main event should be the IC belt. It should be up for grabs, period. That's how it is. Or, you know, and the fact that this is like Brock's second run with a major belt in, you know, the past couple of years since his return, and they've never done that. The IC belt was never the main event. It was always a number one contendership match was the main event, or just some random, you know, back his previous run was, you know, Bray and Dean a lot for no reason. Tertiary title on both shows could be of good use. I don't think they have the time for it. And I mean, what is up? What is up, Immortal Remus? I like the name change. Tertiary belt has its purpose, and it doesn't. Like, I like the idea of the TV title was used like the TV title should be, where it's always defended on TV. Not only is it only defended on TV, meaning no house shows, but it's always defended on TV. So if you have a TV show, thank you for the thumbs up. If you have a TV show, you will see that belt. Okay, so is it back yet? Are we back? So I mean, but for that rationale, okay. Sorry about that. So the door didn't work that well after all. New Dion, I murdered him. Okay. What part of England? Okay. So yeah, in that case, like, that's what I liked about the John Cena U.S. title Open Challenge, just because you always got to see the belt defended, which is fine, and it made people excited, which is why I like the IC belt so much, because Bret was always defending it. I saw that belt all the time. Hulk Hogan had the belt, you know, whoever, you know, Hulk Hogan with the belt or whoever. I didn't see it all that much because it was on pay-per-view, and my parents didn't buy me the pay-per-view, so unless I was lucky enough to go to a friend's house who had it, I didn't see that belt get defended ever. You know, I saw the IC. I saw the IC belt defended. That's why I liked it. So if you have a belt, a mid-card belt, so I think the tertiary title role could be fulfilled by the mid-card belts, and in which case, you know, they would be a lot, you know, made to better use. And, you know, Miz is trying as best as he can to maintain that IC championship to make sure it matters, but there's only so much you can do. Okay, 30-day defense stipulation only matters if your face. Money only gives out the rules. Word association. Please say the word that comes to mind when I mention these wrestling personalities. Hogan, Hulk. The Rock, Stone Cold. The McMahons, asses. Vince McMahon, idiot. X-Pac, also idiot. That was pretty easy. Just one word. Yeah, I like it. Not bad. Cena's place. Cena was placed by WWE as the main guy. CM Punk became a main guy despite WWE not wanting a small guy as the main champion. Yeah, and that's true. Now, I mean, Punk wasn't that, like, you know, Punk fit guys like, you know, was great for fans like us, like me, or like, you know, like some of you. Kevin Dunn is also an idiot. Yes, that is true. A train, okay, pretty good too. Do I not know something about? Hold on, I don't think about X-Pac, but all right. Okay. Are you tired of having a part-time champion? Absolutely. Do you think it's actually bringing down the title? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. What do you think of how WWE is treating Mike and Maria Kanellis? Mike Bennett, I figured this would happen to him because I figured that WWE is just looking to book a lot of guys just so other companies don't have them, which is what I suspected with Adam Cole, but they're treating Adam Cole a little bit better than I thought. I thought that about Red Dragon, too. I'm not even a Red Dragon fan. So, I don't approve of it, but I don't think they should have signed. And how the Wi-Fi in here is so bad. All right, we back? Okay, we back. All right, good. See, moving to another room. Moving back to the main room. All right, thank you guys for bearing with me. I am back in the other room right now, and Wi-Fi connection should be better here. Okay. Anyone else experiencing light? Don't worry, it's not you. It's not you. It's me. Okay. Just give me a. All right, guys. All right, guys. I hate to do this. All right. I'm trying to door trick in this one. All right, guys. Hate to do this, but I'm gonna have to call it. The connection is just terrible. I don't think it matters which room I'm in. I just think they're all bad right now. So I'm going to cut this show short today. I think it's just the actual internet. Hardline would be nice. I probably should have to look into this. All right, so I'm just gonna have to end it. Thank you guys. Thank you for the thumbs up support.